States have tried assault weapons bans, with various levels of success, unfortunately. New York is trying a semi-auto ban disguised as a Glock ban. Now, another state has introduced a bill to ban what they call mass casualty guns, which is just another fancy way of saying anything semi-auto with a magazine. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel and another day of tyranny. One of the news reports on this new bill honestly made me laugh. It's an NBC report that says, a new bill at the Ohio State House aims to create a new gun safety law, but some worry the language is too broad and will strip away Second Amendment rights. Well, yes. So first of all, any gun bill strips away Second Amendment rights, but any bill that makes up terms or makes generalizations like mass casualty guns or pistol that can be modified, like in New York, where the language can then extend to everything bigger than a .22, is absolutely too broad. And that brings us to Ohio House Bill 433, an 18-page bill, a monstrosity, to prohibit carrying mass casualty weapons that literally creates an everything but .22 definition. But before I read you the bill, here is a word about today's sponsor. We will all have to retire someday. The dollar is not what it used to be, and you cannot rely on things like Social Security, which is already running on a deficit and will be dead by the time I'm old enough to collect it. So my family focuses on investments and diversifying those investments, including precious metals, so that I don't have to rely on selling ammo for groceries when I'm 80. Because precious metals always hold value, and as the dollar falls, metals go up. That is why I have partnered with American Hartford Gold for this video. American Hartford Gold has amazing customer service, a buyback commitment, an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your wealth with physical gold and silver. They have all kinds of options, from gold, silver, and platinum, to coins and bars, to even investing it in an IRA if that's more your jam. And unlike dollars in a bank account, it can't get wiped out by the banks, and no one but you knows exactly how much you have. So click the link in the description, text DOLL, that's DOLL, to 65532, or call the number on your screen and tell them I sent you, and they'll give you up to $15,000 of free silver on your first order so that you can start saving today. HB 433 amends current law in Ohio to include a provision on mass casualty guns. Mass casualty weapon means any semi-automatic firearm designed or especially adapted to fire more than 31 cartridges without reloading, other than a firearm chambering only .22 caliber short, long, or long rifle cartridges. And it declares in section 2923.17.a, no person shall knowingly acquire, have, carry, or use any mass casualty weapon or dangerous ordnance. There are, of course, some exceptions, because there are always exceptions. Military and law enforcement, as always. It also doesn't apply to NFA items, as those are already registered with the ATF, and for some reason, it doesn't apply to state employees. So, rules for thee and not for me. Again, as always. Really makes you question that a little bit, though. Anyone who violates this law would be guilty of a felony in the 5th degree, which in Ohio is actually the lowest level of felony, punishable by 6 to 12 months in prison, a $2,500 fine, and 5 years of probation. Which seems like kind of an odd punishment to me, considering how crazy the anti-gunners are about semi-autos and assault weapons and blah, 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 blah. And also that the bill would be this audacious and broad and then only assign the lowest level of felony. Mind you, that's not a complaint to make the punishment worse by any means. Making owning a gun any kind of crime is unethical, immoral, and unconstitutional. But the big sticking point here, and the main point for them, is that no matter how little the felony is, it's still a felony, making the person a prohibited person. for possibly the rest of their life. Though we do now have that recent court decision that nonviolent felons still have Second Amendment rights, and while it only applied in that case, it does now create precedents for other folks to argue it in their situations. So it would come down to whether or not the state considers simply owning an item it doesn't like to be a violent offense or not. As we just saw in the Dexter Taylor case, New York considers it to be violent to own a piece of metal and or plastic. So who knows what Ohio will decide. Now it is curious that the bill doesn't ban anything over 10 rounds. I suspect that that's an amendment that will be proposed later on down the line. It also assumes that the bad guys don't use standard capacity mags and use something bigger, though 30 plus 1 in the chamber brings you to the evil 31. At the end of the day, the number really doesn't matter because it's a gun ban and not a mag ban. It's obvious the bill would ban basically anything other than, say, 22 rifles, as that's the caliber it specifically carves out, and as most semi-autos can take 30-plus round magazines. That being said, I may or may not know of some stupidly ridiculous and fun drum mags for 22 rifles that are both hilarious to shoot and very annoying to reload. It was a novelty, and it was fun, like, the first and second time. Pure and simple, it is a ban on anything with a detachable magazine. It's definitely a new and more roundabout way of trying to push through an assault weapons ban without calling it an assault weapons ban. I don't know how much people are really going to be fooled. Ohio used to ban guns with magazines over 30 rounds, but that ban was reversed in 2015. The bill's main sponsor, Willis Blackshear, says that this bill is meant to go back to the good old days of that ban. His arguments during testimony are the same ones that we have heard time and time again. They're weapons of war. These guns and mags allowed for mass shootings to happen. People with smaller magazines will kill fewer people. All things that really don't matter at all if the person is skilled or prepared. He and his co-sponsors once again argued that anyone in the world can get one of these mass casualty weapons without a background check, which is typically not how it works unless you're a criminal. In which case you're going to do whatever the you want. The state's Republicans say that it won't pass because it's not constitutional and would require the feds to change the Second Amendment. That did not stop places like New York or Hawaii, but Ohio isn't quite on their level, and I believe they are at least currently Republican controlled. So I tend to agree. But then we are sitting here with a situation where Democrats are introducing virtue signaling bills, which they know won't pass, but have no problem wasting time and tax dollars in order to do it. On the one hand, wasting time and money on bills that go nowhere is better than them passing new and terrible laws, but honestly, I'd just rather not pay them. Alright folks, that is it for this video. I have a sleepy toddler downstairs, so you guys know all of the algorithm things, and as always, thanks for tuning in, and happy shooting.